Welcome to Get Your Mind Right. Today, we're diving into your questions and insights in our mailbag segment. Thanks to everyone who wrote in. Let's open up the mailbag.
Good morning. John Johnson here, and welcome to Get Your Mind Right, the world's only podcast devoted to digital marketing and merchant services sales professionals. Hey, I'm looking at my calendar here, and it says it's Friday, and that means it's Mailbag Day. So today we're going to break down one of the most important skills in sales, and that is adaptability. I'm going to give you a little preview here. Whitney Johnson wants to know how to tailor your pitch to different types of clients. Let's face it, folks, if you're saying the same thing to everyone, you're doing it wrong. Allison Woods came in with a little career curveball here. She wants to know how I got my start in payments and how much the industry has changed over the years. And my old buddy, Jake No, is back, and he's asking the question every rep should be asking. What is the best way to ask for a merchant's business? If you want to sharpen your pitch, understand where the industry has been, and close more confidently, then this episode's for you. So let's get your mind right and get to work. And our first mailbag question is from Whitney Johnson from Evansville, Indiana. And she wants to know, how do you tailor your pitch to different types of clients? Great question, Whitney, because what we know and what you should know is that one size fits all does not work in sales. A great pitch is like a custom suit. It's bespoke, if you will. It fits the person, it's going to fit the business, and most importantly, it's going to fit the moment. You got to be able to read the room. If you walk into a meeting with the same script you used yesterday, you're not adapting, you're just reciting. So here's how to tailor your pitch based on who is in front of you. And the number one thing is know their language. For example, Whitney, you wouldn't talk to a restaurant owner the same way you talk to a car dealer or a CPA. Every industry has its pain points and buzzwords. For example, a restaurant's going to care about table turn speed. They're going to care about tips, tip adjustment, POS integration. Whereas a service provider may care more about invoicing and mobile payments. Learn their world so your message lands. All right, let's just say you're brand new. You don't know the language. Well, Google and Chat GPT are your friends. Queue up these questions exactly the way that Whit did here. Put it in there, what sort of industry you have, and it's going to give you a really good tip list here. Now, my second piece of advice, Whitney, is to understand the decision maker's priority. Because a business owner, at the end of the day, they may not tell you this, but they want to know how you are going to grow their bottom line. What is it that you do that's going to put more profit and more money in their pocket? General manager is going to want to know how easy it is going to be to train their staff. Finance officer wants to know about reporting, fees, and compliance. Now, once again, if you don't know who you're pitching to, you're going to miss what matters. Need some help with this? Again, go back to your friend at ChatGPT or Google, and it will tee you up accordingly. Now, this last thing is really, really important. It's about mirroring their energy and style, because some clients want a quick hit. They're high D, bottom line types. Others are going to want to chat and build rapport. Once again, you need to be flexibility and you need flex. If someone says, I only got 10 minutes, you better get to the point. If they're giving you an hour and asking you questions, go deeper. Don't rush a relationship builder or bore a power closer. The last piece of advice I'm going to give you on this subject with is to make it about them, your client, because tailoring starts with great questions. Tell me about your current setup. What's working well? What's a headache? What's one thing you change about your payment provider's day? What kind of leads is your current digital provider giving you? These are obviously open-ended questions. And what you can do is, again, show your incredible flexibility. You're going to use their answers to steer your pitch. This isn't improvisational. It's active listening and then targeted delivery. And remember, pitch isn't just showing about how smart you are. It's showing how well you understand them and how you're listening to them. Thanks for the question, Whit. Now, my next question is from Allison Woods from Evansville, Indiana. And she said, John, how did you get your start in payments And how has the industry changed? Well, Allison, I love this question because it shows me you're thinking about the big picture. Now, for you folks out there who are new to payments, or even if you've been around a few years, it's easy to think that the industry's always been like this, but it hasn't. So, how did I get my start? Well, in this particular company, I got it how a lot of people got it, by relationships. Our founder, I have a 40 plus year relationship with. We were fraternity brothers, okay? We stayed in touch over the years. Timing was right. And now all of a sudden I'm in my 9th year here. Now, the next part of this, Allison, is you asked me how it has changed over the years. Well, it's changed dramatically. 9 years in the enforcement industry is a pretty darn short period of time, but we have seen unbelievable ground changing things happening in the payment industry. Because, like when I first got started, it was mostly terminals, paper apps, and clunky onboarding. Every rep had to drive across town to get a wet signature. And explaining pricing or a statement, you're talking about a master class in confusion. So here's some of the big rocks here I can move around on you. Most apps are digital. You got mobile first payment tools. You got full scale point of sale system, digital onboarding, dual pricing programs, surcharging, omni-channel solutions. The list goes on and on and on. The other thing, Allison, I'll tell you is when I first got in this business, especially in merchant services, it was really about saving someone a few basis points. Now it's completely different than that. We're talking about driving their top line, we're talking about cutting their costs, and we're talking about mitigating risks. We're really embedded in businesses' workflows. Now, the big change here, this means that value has shifted from rates to service and strategy. Merchants don't want the cheapest, they want the best partner. And if you understand that shift, you're going to be ahead of the game. The other thing that's been happening in my 9 years here is the shift towards digital, and specifically the hand in glove nature of digital and payments. It's a big advantage for Evolve because what the savvy Evolve reps have found is that when a merchant trusts you to handle their payments, that's a lot they're trusting you with. A lot of our merchants, 90+% of their income is handled by their payments provider. You've already built that trust bridge. So building that bridge to providing them digital services is much, much easier because you already have that trust. And what we also find all the time is that customers are paying for digital, but they really don't know what they're getting for it, and they can't tell you what they're getting for it. That's a big advantage for you. Now, Allison, here's the last part, and this is the most exciting part, is that it is still changing. If you're in now, you're in on the front end of what's next. Allison, great question. I appreciate you writing in. Now, the last question is from Jake Noel from Boonville, Indiana. And man, I tell you what, he's got questions for me, it seems like every week. Jake, I appreciate him. Keep them coming. But Jake's asking me, John, what's the best approach for asking for the merchant's business? So, Jake, this is one of the most important skills of sales. It's also one of the most avoided, bungled, and at the same time, although it's important, it's overrated. I've seen reps spend 45 minutes, an hour and a half pitching, building rapport, reviewing numbers, and then not ask for the business. So, Jake, if this is you, I want you to stop dancing and start closing. And the first thing to do is to start with a good opening. I love this question because I give the same answer to it every time. If you go to Barnes & Noble tonight, you go to the business section, you're going to find that the business section of books is dominated by selling books. Well, why is that? Well, it's because that's where the businesses make money. And when you look at those selling books, you're going to see it is dominating by closing. And you're going to say secrets to closing the sale. Here's what Harvard Business School does not want you to know about closing. Magic tips to closing. All right. What I can tell you right now, keep all that money in your pocket and throw away those books. Because here's what a closing is really built around. It's about adding value to the merchant, and that value compels them to say yes. because you've made it easy to say yes. For example, I'm going to set the stage right off the bat. I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Merchant, here's what we do. We look at driving our merchants' top line. We look at cutting their fixed costs, and we look at mitigating the risks. Now, if we come up with something like this for you and it makes sense, generally takes us about 5 to 7 days to get this implemented. Is this something that you think you would want to take advantage of? Now, what you will notice, that little talk track I gave you there was no sleight of hand, no arm twisting, no magic. Now, remember, what I said there is, if I can do this for you, would you be interested in that? Okay? And merchant's going to be a very, very simple reply. They're going to go, well, yeah, I'll look at that. Sure, I would. Or they're going to say, no, the timing's bad. Then I'm going to go through another round of questioning to find out when the timing's good. Okay? But either way, I'm going to get an answer I work with. But the important thing for you to know here, Jake, is I'm setting that expectation up front with very simple language that everyone understands, and them saying yes to it is predicated on me bringing value to the table. I've got to prove that out, or I can't expect them to say yes. Think about this for a minute logically, Jake. If I'm going to drive that merchant's top line, I'm going to cut their fixed costs, I'm going to mitigate their risks, why would they not want that? But this is all set up by my great opening. So let's talk about some other specific things you can do, Jake. The first thing I like is ask early and often. You don't need to wait till the very end to test the water. Use trial closes all the way, okay? You might be saying, hey, Mr. Merchant, did you like this feature we're just talking about? Do you see how this saves money and simplifies your life? Is that going to help you out? This does a couple of things for you, Jake. Number one, it's going to surface objections before you get to the end, and it's going to get them thinking about saying yes. Now, the next thing, Jake, is I want you to be clear, not clingy. Don't beg, don't hedge, just ask. You might say at the end of this, hey, Mr. Merchant, let's get this going. I got the paperwork right here, and we'll get this installed for next week. Now, notice the tone. It's friendly, it's confident, it's forward-moving, and it is assumptive. Now, the next thing here, Drake, is I want to circle back to the value. Anchor the value for your client before you ask, because you're not just asking them to switch processors. You're asking them to make a great business decision here. Tie up your ask to what they care about. Say, hey, Mr. Merchant, every month you wait is another $500 in lost bottom line savings. Let's get that fixed today. And Jake, the last thing here is I want you to create urgency without pressure. We're not talking about arm twisting. We're not talking about sleight of hand. We're not talking about being unprofessional. Remember, the true professional is a professional all the time. What we're doing here, Jake, is we're not manipulating, you're guiding. You might say, Mr. Merchant, if we start today, you'll be fully live before your next statement closes. That means you'll see the results in this cycle, not next quarter. My bottom line, Jake, is Rhino's charge at the deal. They don't circle it, hoping something's going to fall over, just on their lap here. We want to be bold, be direct, and close with purpose. Jake, that's a great question. Again, you're one of my favorite question submitters to the show. Keep them coming. Folks, that's a wrap on another mailbag. Now you know how to tailor your pitch like a pro, how the payments industry has evolved over the years, Visa, me, and how to confidently ask for the business without blinking. So what's next? Get your Rhino on. Take what you learn, hit the field, and charge at your goals. No distractions, no hesitation. And hey, one more thing before you sign off. Let's hit that follow, like, and share button. No excuses, just action. I'll see you here Monday on Get Your Mind Right.